Alrighty, traders, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to a live show here from the FX Big Dog House. And yep, it is the dog house right now, and we're going to be talking about the Canadian rate decision. Traders, we're going to go ahead and look at the data when the data comes out, but more importantly, we're going to take a look and see exactly what the markets are telling us from a technical perspective. Because if there's one thing that we can understand, and that is that the technicals are the ones that lead the fundamentals. And so let's see if today we're going to see exactly that. I'll see you right after this. All right, traders. Well, here we go. It's we got about less than 15 minutes to go before we get to the rate decision. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of things here before we do. So the details right here is that the central bank is looking to cut interest rate 25 basis point. Now, we spoke about this inside my live sessions this week, and I mentioned that there's a couple of things here that just doesn't make sense. Like, firstly, number one, the fact that they cut interest rates when we're not at the 2% mark, because that's what they're trying to drive down to, makes me somewhat concerned, because inflation isn't coming down that fast that they have to go ahead and start cutting interest rates. So I'm not sure how the market's going to digest this information, but what I do know is that it just seems like this is just not the right time, right? This is just not the right time for them to go ahead and cut rates. Now, the question here is, does this create a scenario whereby we're now going to see some information that's going to come off at around about 9:45 that's going to lead to believe that the cuts that they're making might not be a competitive thing, which means they may not do it again, unless, of course, they start seeing some real dipping inside the interest rates, or sort of the inflation rate. And so if the inflation numbers don't come down, then are we going to go ahead and push rates up again? That's the question we all have. Now we've got, I want to make sure that everyone understands that if we see any movement out of the US dollar CAD, particularly the US dollar CAD this morning, I want to also make sure that you also understand that we have next week, we have the Federal Reserve coming out with their interest rate decision. And as of right now, we don't have anything lined up or see any sort of predictions of what that's going to be. They've got the interest rates at 5.5%, and they are going to be looking to either raise or cut or stand aside, right? I mean, it's those three options. But the thing that we always consider here is that even though they are looking to create this sort of policy around inflation's not coming down. The last time we saw the US inflation come down was last month, and it came down at 0.1%. So it was at 3.5. It came down to 3.4. That's not huge. That is not big enough reason to want to cut interest rates, nor is it coming down fast, nor is it down below 3%. So it's certainly not at the levels that they need. And so cutting interest rates does not push inflation lower. It raises it raises inflation, right? So we need to make sure that we pay attention to those details. So with that being said, traders, let's dive into things that are going to be affected this morning. And I'm going to look at four currency pairs, because we are invested in these four currency pairs. We're going to take a look at the CAD Swiss, the Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, and we're also going to take a look at the US dollar CAD and see how they all set up. So with that being said, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the family of trading here, as Irvin has gone ahead and mentioned. Glad to have everyone here. Got some faces I remember and do recall. But let's go ahead and pay a little more attention to the details here. Now, again, the reason why I look at technical analysis is because I believe that technical analysis lead fundamentals, and fundamentals just fulfill the technical setups. Okay, so that's going to be proven today whether this is right or wrong. So let's look at each one. Now I'm going to look at the daily time frame, just break it down based on the daily time frame, because I think it's important to establish where we are technically to understand if the fundamentals move differently, then we have to realize that there is what we call the alternative move. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the alternative move, and hopefully that is what's going to define where the market will go if we're wrong today in our technical breakdown. All right. Now, traders, first number one, I want to go ahead and put out this right here. I'm going to go to the CAD Swiss right here because this is the one that we've been in for a long time. If you follow my trade ideas, you will know that this one has been one that has been a thorn in the side. And we've got some positive rollover on this, but this definitely have been a pain in the butt. Now, first thing number one, I want to point out here, this is the weekly time frame. You can see right here down below, we got a fair value gap right here, which means that traders, that the market is looking for some sort of correction move, right? The fair value gap will be tested. Now, we got to a point here on the weekly. If you're wondering why we are stalling here at the top, is because of not only do we have, of course, a good fair value gap right here that has been retested, but you also had the market creating this U-turn right here that also once again became strong resistance. Now, when we see some sort of correction move, there's two things that I look at right here. One, I look to see if the market's creating this structure, this wave structure, and we do. We'll have to go to the daily time frame to be able to establish that. So here's the wave structure that we're seeing right here. If you take a look over here, this is this area right here, okay, right there. Let me go ahead and I just realized I've got my drawing on the wrong side here. So let me just move that across. Give me 1 second here while I reestablish my drawing. Golly, hold on a second here. All right, cool. So here we go. Why doesn't this, oh gosh, don't you hate it when, oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Now I can move that to the side. Good. All right, sometimes you got to work things through. All right, so here we go. So this is a very key level of support down here. Very key level of support. This is around about 6480, right? 6480, between 6480 and 6500. Okay, that area right here. And so traders, you have to understand that when the market breaks, all right, when the market breaks through that area, it's normally going to break through and then it's going to come back to retest it and then go back up north. So this was inevitable. We had to get down to this level. We had to come back to this level and test this level. And the reason why we had to come back to test this level is because the market's going to test a certain level and then take off from that point of view. It's going to take off and it's going to go to the next, what we call buy side liquidity, right? And understand this. If we have this notion that the market is constantly looking for liquidity levels, then we have to believe that when the market bounces off support right here, then it's chasing after the next very exciting and very demanding level, which is over here. Our level of resistance is placed around about 68.30. Now, we could go beyond that, but this is where we're going to look for the market to go ahead and test. Now, so this area right here is very, very much in line with our technical analysis. This is where we anticipate price to come to before working its way back up north. Now, there is still room, just as FYI, there's still room for price to move down a little lower and then go back up again. So we're not going to say that we're totally out of the woods and that the market is not going to dip down. We do say that there is room for price to move down before it moves back up again. All right, that's one. Now, this is the CAD Swiss. Now, I'm looking at a high-level view. This is the CAD Swiss. If I go to the Aussie Canadian dollar, right, take a look right here. Price is cleaning up this liquidity area right here, all right? So we're getting liquidity clean out. We're seeing that price is sitting here inside this range right here. So we're at resistance. Okay. Now, you might say to me, well, big dog, the market can go ahead and break through this. Yeah, I believe it can. But I believe that with the news already in play, I mean, we knew that they're going to cut interest rates last week already. I believe that it's already been priced in. All right, this move was already been priced in. And if this move's already been priced in, then that means that we may see price working its way back down. Now, if Aussie CAD moves down, that means the Canadian dollar is strengthening in against this Aussie pair, right? Or Aussie cross. So if we look at this right here, we're now going to anticipate that this resistance will hold and the price will come back down. So which means that we're going to look for liquidity levels right there, and then down here eventually at that point. But also look at the consolidation here. All right. With price moving inside this consolidation with tops up here, we're looking at a bottom down here. Could price move all the way back down to this area? Absolutely can. And what's going to cause that? When the market moves past this level of resistance and that sell side liquidity area right here, price will then be heading south. So traders, from a technical perspective, even on the Aussie CAD, we're looking for price to move down, which means, again, Canadian strength. All right, now we've got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and cover another pair, the US dollar CAD right here. And if you look at US dollar CAD, traders, once again, look at the consolidation, right? And it's going to take a lot more than just this fundamental to drive it through that resistance. Now, there is some range-bound trading right about here. But long term, we have to believe that 32.20 or 32.30, around about there, is the downside target for the US dollar CAD. Again, looking for price to sell off on the US dollar, but the Canadian dollar going to strengthen. All right. And that's really where it comes down to. We're going to take a look at the technicals and see if the market does fit in. So what I'm going to do today, and in the next minute, we're going to have the news come out. When the news comes out, all I want to see is how the market reacts to the news. We're going to have the statement coming out as well, but also more importantly, how the daily closes out, because it's the daily time frame that's really going to establish our directional bias today. All right. And that's what we're going to be looking for right here. Do we see directional bias? So we've got less than 1 minute. So I'm going to go down to the 1 minute time frame. I want to go to the 1 minute because I want to see how the 1 minute fares. I'm going to go back to the chart here. Let's see here. We got exactly 4 seconds before the decision comes out. We're expecting to keep unchanged. Let's see the market reaction first. Okay, this is the 1 hour. Let's go to the 30-minute. Oh, looks like a big push. Now, again, don't be too sold in on this, okay? Again, I'm not going to get too excited about this because this could also be a wash and rinse, all right? Could be absolutely a wash and rinse. So I'm not going to get too excited about this. And when I say wash and rinse, traders, what I'm referring to is that price pushes up here. Go ahead and actually eliminate, take out stops, and then it reverses. And this has actually been a typical move in the news that we've seen wash and rinses taking place all the time during this session. Now, I'm for one going to go ahead and pay a little more attention to the spreads. And the reason why I'm taking a little bit of a look at the spreads, because traders, one thing that you have to also understand is that in wash and rinses, spreads widening. Brokers are trying to protect themselves for bad, in case people try and sell or buy on bad pricing. And then what happens is we tend to see the spreads widening, and that also means that your margin levels could also change as well. So keep an eye on your margin levels, especially if they're tight. Now, this is the initial move. We're going to go back to the news here, and we'll see, okay, they went ahead and did exactly what they anticipated, 4.75. Frankly speaking, I think it's way too early for them to start thinking about cutting interest rates, all right? But it is what it is. Now, with them raising interest rates, the next question that I have right here is, does this move last? Because that's the key right here. So what I'm going to be doing on this particular setup right here, this is a 30-minute chart. What I'm going to be looking for is reversals, all right? And the reason why is because if you go to the daily time frame right here and you look at the daily time frame, I want to go ahead and bring out something here. You notice right here, this candle right there. We had on this candle, we had a closed candle. All right, this closed candle closed above that high. This means that this confirmed that we have a bullish, or actually a neutral sentiment. This confirmed we have a bullish sentiment, which means that we're expected price to move north. But this is what's key. See that level right there, that high? We're going to look for a reversal in that area. If we see a bearish reversal there, we're going back down south to take out that liquidity low right here. And I'm sure with the wash and rinse today, that might be happening. So let's go back here and move this down to a 1 hour. I'm going to go down to a 15-minute time frame right here. I could even look for something tighter than that. I can even go down to a 5-minute and look to see if we see a wash and rinse on the 5-minute. Now, there's the wash and rinse. There's the high that was taken out. There's the low that was created. So we're probably not going to see a lot of opportunities this morning until around about mid, or at least the latter part of the morning, or maybe early afternoon as the European market starts closing out. But there's that wash and rinse. You can see there, starting to pull back a little bit. Again, not that convincing, but if we can pull back below the low right here, that would be super cool right there. Let's go take a look at some other pairs. I'm going to mark off some stuff here as well. I'm going to mark off this high right here, and I'm going to go ahead and mark it off as my buy side liquidity right here. And if price starts closing down below here, then it might create some opportunities. Now that's the US dollar. Let's go to take a look at the CAD Swiss right here for a minute, and look at that. Look at that fair value gap here on the 50-minute time frame. Prices come back to fill up the gap. Let's go to the 1 hour. 1 hour, we don't see anything. We want to see price take out this high. That high right there, that's going to be important, because if we take out that high, we have a market structure shift right here. And a market structure shift will give us a good indication that price is perhaps going to go ahead and chase after a larger fair value gap, which is up here at the top. Again, not a convincing. Remember something. I want to just bring this up, okay? We have a rate decision. They've cut interest rate 25 basis point. With a cut of 25 basis point, you would think that this is going to be a lot bigger move than what we got currently right now. On the CAD Swiss right here, prices moved in the last, since the news, has spiked down here from that area. That's 17 pips, my friends, on the CAD Swiss. 17 pips. That's not a whole bunch, all right? That is not a whole bunch, which means, traders, this information is important because it tells me that this was probably already priced in. We saw the downside move over the last probably 72 hours on the Canadian dollar, losing ground as we head into this news. It's come out as expected, so everyone's like, well, it happened the way we expected, right? And so because it's happened the way we expected. Oh, I love this one. Check this out. This is funny. CAD falling knife. All right. It's nowhere near, Nicholas, a falling knife. All right. It's nowhere near a falling knife. This is actually pretty interesting. All right. So the next thing here is that we want to go ahead and take a look at right here is, if the market's going to close out, what is it waiting for, right? If it's going to close out bullish or bearish, what is it waiting for before it gets to those levels? Well, this is probably what it's waiting for right here. We've got a news coming out at 10:30. All right. It's about 45 minutes after the fact, but it's the press conference. And it's going to be the press conference that the questions are going to be asked and they're going to get answers. And that's how the market's going to then go ahead and digest what just happened. And so the thing here is that we have to understand that this is a simple wash and rinse. All right. And that the market's already digested the information that's already been disclosed. And so I would not be surprised. Again, I may be wrong, but I will not be surprised if I start seeing price working itself up. I'm also noticing right here on the 50-minute time frame. Let me see here on the 1 hour if I can see it better. There is, okay, so that's the high right there I'm looking for. I'm looking for the price to take out that high. All right, so still looking for price to take out that as a buy-side liquidity area right here before we start seeing some market shift, all right? Now, someone mentioned the New Zealand CAD. Let's take a look at the New Zealand CAD. Now, I want to go to the daily time frame on this one right here, all right? If you take a look at the daily time frame, we're due. We've taken out this buy-side liquidity right here. We're due for a huge downside move. I'm going to be real interested to see how this daily candle closed out. Traders, if you haven't already noticed, right, Thursday to Friday trading is normally we normally see the market reversing for the week, all right? It's normally a reversal of the week, which means that Thursday, Friday trading could very much be the reversal that we are going to be seeing already taking place at the close of today. Because if today shows us, and I think if anything, you want to look for this is what I'm going to be paying attention to. I'm going to be looking for the daily candle to show that it cannot close above the previous high. If we can get the daily candle like on this particular pair right here, we're looking for 84.55. So 84.55, if we can close below 84.55 in today's trading, then look for reversals on the lower time frame because we're heading south on the New Zealand CAD. And so if I look at this right here, I can see that there is a lot of potential for price to work its way back down to support levels. And we've got a lot of areas here, down here. Now you got to look at this and you got to say, okay, so yeah, we've got a wave going up here. Here's the 1.618. This is where we probably going to see price want to come back to retest this area. So if you're looking for a target to the downside, this would be it right here. That would be it right there. And so we could see the New Zealand CAD looking for a downside move to at least 120 pips, at least 120 pips. And then once we get to that point right here, we'll establish whether the market's still looking for some further upside move, or are we going to go ahead and move inside this, once again, consolidation. Have you seen all the pairs? New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, US dollar CAD, and even the CAD Swiss, right? All four of these pairs that are traded against the Canadian dollar have in the last 2 years been consolidated. They've got larger ranges. It's no different on this one right here, on the New Zealand CAD as well. The New Zealand CAD has got this range from there to right about here. And you can see that this wasn't quite 2 years. This is about a year since it moved into this area. You see a larger range down here below here as well. I guess we could take a little bit longer, but if you just take this area right here, this has been a year. So on the New Zealand CAD, we're in a range here. We're in a range. Now, traders, when do we have inflation numbers coming out for the New Zealand dollar? Let me see here. New Zealand dollar inflation numbers are coming out. Let's see here. It's not next week. No, I don't see that. No, let's try the week after that. New Zealand GDP coming out there. We've got GDP coming out. Aussie's rate decision. I mean, we got just a crazy next couple of weeks. I don't see it here. Let's see here. We got on the 25th, we've got CPI numbers coming out for the Canadians. It's going to be important to see how that is. Look here, if the inflation numbers come out higher for the Canadians on the 25th, then it's going to be like, are you kidding me? What was the purpose of the interest rate cuts? I mean, come on, man. Are we getting people? I mean, we've said this before, and we're going to say this again. How many times have you seen that there's been a report that's come out, and the very next month when they show the next report, what happens? Revised numbers get changed, all right? Or the numbers get revised. And so which means that somebody's reporting data, and every time we have a new data report, they're revising the old data. It's like, wouldn't you love that, to have a job that you could be wrong all the time or most of the time and still be hired? Are you kidding me? Somebody's got to be fired, all right? Because these revised numbers are coming up all the time. All right, so I don't see inflation numbers coming up for the New Zealand this month. It's probably going to be in next month. So we'll keep an eye over that. So this month is not going to really be that number. All right. So let's take a look and see right here. Let's take a look and see what we have right here. This is cool. Yeah, it is definitely overheated, my friend. Definitely overheated on the Aussie CAD. I totally believe that. All right, ISM numbers coming out here at 10 o'clock. We want to see what happens over here at 10 o'clock. Looks like we're still holding strong here. We're going to go to the lower time frame to see. All right, well, not okay. This is actually good. This is actually good. Believe it or not, this is good. Let's go to the 1 minute time frame right here. Yeah, we're starting. Look here, traders. If you want to do some intraday scalping, this is what you're looking for right here. Okay. Now we want to see the market retest that high and then come out and take out these lows right here. We don't see it right here. So even though these the market's created these swing points right there, this is not necessarily going to create a good reversal. All right. Now, if that high holds and the market does take out this low, yeah, then maybe, just maybe, we could look for something on the short term for reversal. All right. Gonna have to wait and see. Now, I do want to make sure I'm paying attention right here. Now, we got about 2 minutes to go, and I'm going to move to the US dollar CAD right here and see. Look at the US dollar CAD right here. Not pushing up as had his initial move, and that was it. Done. That's it. A move from this area right here. Let's take a look at the high. So we had a 40 pip move, and now it's settled over here, and now it's only gone 30 pips up. So it's a half a beat. Remember, one beat is 60 pips. So we've only moved a half a beat so far. That's it. A half a beat. We've only moved a half a beat on this. Traders, listen here. The opportunity tells us right now that we're running out of steam on this. We're running out of steam on this one. So traders, as we start preparing, we got about a minute left. As we start preparing for less than a minute, actually about 16 seconds, and we'll get the ISM numbers out. Let's see if the ISM numbers change the direction. Don't forget the Bank of Canada at 10:30, right? We're definitely going to see some results. Now, while we're waiting, let's take a look over here. Well, let's see. All right, there we go. So ISM numbers are coming out. And we've seen a little bit of another spike here. Another spike. What is the numbers? All right, looks like it was higher. Higher number. Now, this is important right here. See that spike? Sweeps the high. All right, so we had a sweep of the high right here. Price goes ahead and sweeps the high. Let's see where it goes from here. If it comes out and takes out the lows right here, we do have a sort of inner reversal here. We may have an inner reversal. Let's see how the market do. This is the 1 minute time frame. I'm really looking at nitty gritty. Let me go to the 5 minute right here. Not seeing much on the 5 minute happening right there. So the 1 minute time frame is what's going to give us an opportunity. A break of this level is what we need. And then we need price to come back to retest this area right here around about, what's that? We're looking at 36.85. Traders, wash and rinse. Wash and rinse. That's it. Wash and rinse. Again, a wash and rinse. I like the fact that we're taking out the high. In fact, this low right here at 37.01 is going to be key. Let's see if we can break that out. Let's take a look at the New Zealand CAD. While we're waiting for that to happen. Whoa! Look at that spike down here. Let's go to the 15-minute. Wow, look at that. This took place right now at 10 o'clock. Yep, there it is. At 10 o'clock, this market spiked down all the way down here. Let's take a look over here. Did that happen on the CAD as well? Yes, it did. Can you believe that? The news, the ISM numbers out in the US, how that affected. Now, the question here is, was it the ISM numbers? Or is it the market now digesting the rate cut and now looking and going, you know what? This is not a freaking big deal at all. All right. What's everyone getting so excited about? All right. No big deal. All right. Let's go ahead and continue. All right. So let me do this as I go ahead and close for the day. Right. I want to go ahead and break down. So stick around, guys. We're going to break down each pair, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you should be looking for heading into the close of today. All right. I'm going to give you sort of an indication of what we're looking for in order to be able to establish biases for the rest of the week. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go to the daily time frame, and it's a daily time frame that we're going to be looking for price to go ahead and confirm. Let me just go ahead and hide this right here. So Aussie CAD. So one thing right here, traders, is that you've got to establish sort of directional bias, and the daily time frame could absolutely help you to be able to establish that. Now, before I go ahead and start this right here, traders, I want to go ahead and share with you something here from our sponsor. So just give me a second right here. All right, traders, if you're looking for a broker, go ahead and check out ACAP. Just FYI, we do have links inside. I have links down in the description down below if you want to go ahead and check that out to be able to open up an account with ACAP. If you do open up with ACAP, make sure you go ahead and reach out to me. I want to be able to give you something really special to help you get your trading on the road again. So make sure you reach out for me. You can send me an email at info@fxbigdog.com. Also, another thing here is, traders, also a very important thing here I want to go ahead and point out here as well, is that, there's a lot of brokers out there, but there's not too many brokers that are willing to work with the clients to help them get the right tools. And that's why we are so appreciated. We so appreciate ACAP, because ACAP's working with us. Not only are they sponsoring our videos, but they're allowing us to be able to offer some great opportunities for our traders. So make sure you go ahead and check out ACAP, a good company to go ahead and work with. Traders, all right, back to the market right here. Are you ready? Get a pen and paper ready, because now we're going to talk about what are we looking for when the market closes today. And the one thing that I'm going to be trying to identify here is, number one, is directional bias. And how I look for that is, firstly, number one, we've got to look at where the market's at. And this is resistance. So when we're at resistance, we want to look for a candle to confirm that we're heading south, right? Now, if you look at this candle, this green candle going up, we notice that that candle broke and closed out above that previous high. That confirmed that we're bullish. But then the very next day, this candle right here actually gave us a very, very important confirmation. And that is that it failed to close above the previous high. You're at resistance. And so this became a neutral candle, which means it tells us that there's a possibility that we're going to see a downside move in the next day trading. This is today. So which means in today's trading, we should really be looking for downward movement. And if we close out, this will be an added bonus. If we close out below that low with a bearish candle, that means that we're chasing after the next sell side liquidity, which is there, and then there, and plus some. So which means, traders, if you go down to a 1 hour time frame, maybe even a 15 will be able to give you that. If you look over here, here's the swings. If we take a look at the swing structure, we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then look over here. Let me go ahead. Actually, let's go ahead and put some fibs on this. So here's a wave 1. So market came down here. So we got, this is a wave. So right there, we got price hitting there. And then look over here by the 1.27. See how the market hit the 1.27 and then rally back up again? traders, this is telling me that this is a larger wave structure, all right? Which means that you go ahead and eliminate the inside structure. You take this down all the way down below here. And so this movement that we saw right here was to fill this fair value gap right here. It was inevitable. And so this is actually a turning point. And so I would be looking for the market to continue to work its way back down, and look at where the 1.618 is. It's all the way down here at these lows. Let's go ahead and pull up I'm going to go all the way back to a 1 hour. Okay. Sorry, a 4 hour. Look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour shows us this large swing, and look where the 1.618 is sitting at right here. We're looking for price now to go ahead and move all the way back down to this area right about here. Right there. So we're looking for the market to drop back down here. So the Aussie CAD, my downside target on the Aussie CAD would be just below 90.50. And then what I'm probably going to be looking for right here is a breakout for price to go even further down. So let's get through the first hurdle here. First hurdle, let's see price drop back down to this area, which is around about 90.50. And with a break of 90.50, then we can start establishing the new setup. So traders, this is what I'm going to do for you. We're going to do some more of these live sessions. And so what I'm going to do is when price gets to 90.50, be on the watch out for another live session as we talk about what the market's going to do at that level and what you should be looking out for. All right. Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. All right. Because when we go ahead and push a next video, you want to make sure that you are available, all right, and that you are notified of that as well. Make sure that you also click the notification bell as well. Now let's go. This is the Aussie Aussie CAD. Now we've got a trader that says here that the New Zealand CAD is my favorite. Is it really your favorite? All right. Well, let's take a look and see exactly what that is. So let's go to the New Zealand CAD again. What is my move today? All I'm going to be looking for at the close of today, right here, is I'm going to look for the market to close below this high right here, right? If I don't get it today, maybe tomorrow. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if the market fails to break above and close above the previous day high. When that happens, I'm then going to move down to the lower time frame, and I'm going to check that out. All right. Going to check that out. So make sure you are looking for that happening, because it's going to happen, traders. I'm telling you right now, mark my words. Mark my words. We're looking for a really aggressive downside move in the New Zealand CAD. All right. Let's move to the US dollar CAD. What am I looking for on the US dollar CAD? All right. I'm looking for a bit of relief here, my friend. All right, so we had the numbers come out, ISM numbers. Price is at 32.25. Not a big deal. We're looking at this right here as consolidation. So the market's trying to sweep the highs right here. All right, and that's okay. That's inevitable. But what we want to see here is we want to see price breaking below the previous high. So let's take a look over here. Let's go ahead and put this out here. See that high? It's going to sweep that high at what's that? 37.35. Once we sweep the high, then what's important, does the market close above this high today? If it does, then the next trading day I'll look for the same thing. All right? Maybe it's going to be Thursday, Friday trading. But I'm going to be looking to see if the market can sweep this high right here, but stay and close above. And if this doesn't happen, I'll look for the next trading day. So the next trading day is going to be important to see if the market creates a high, and if the next day model fails to close above the previous daily high and does create a reversal. I want to see some market shift on the lower time frame. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. All right. Let's go to the last one, and that's the CAD Swiss right here. So here's the daily candle right here. So far, we're not seeing the daily candle break through. We also see that if you look at the big structure that we have right here, we've got a wave structure 1. This is internal. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So price is trying to get up here to around about 68.30, 6800. And so what we had here is what we call an irregular flat pattern. All right. Price goes down, goes back. Actually, no, it's a zigzag. My bad. It's not even an irregular flat. But we had price coming down, up, and then price taking out the previous low. And then when that happens, then we're anticipating price to turn around here and head back up north, right? So what I'm be looking for right here into this next model, all right, I'm going to be looking to see if, firstly, number one, if we fail to break below the low at 64.90, all right, if we fail to break below that and we close out with a candle today that does not show a lower candle than the previous, then I'll be looking at the next day model, which means I'll be looking for market shift on the lower time frames for reversal back up north, and then looking for some nice solid trends to continue to trade the catch risk going long. All right, so we'll be looking for that setup right here. Again, traders, what's important is we've got to wait for closing candles. All right, the noise today is just going to get you emotional, but what's important is we have to wait for the next day close, right? And the next day close is what's going to define the market setups. Okay, and so we're going to have to wait for that to happen. And so be patient. Don't get emotional, all right? The only reason why you're emotional is if you're over leveraged on your position. I get that point. But then you have to go back to the original one and say, hey, maybe next time, don't be over leveraging. Don't be aggressive on your trading if you cannot handle the emotions, right? If you cannot handle the emotions of trading aggressively, then don't trade aggressively, all right? So don't get emotional. Let's wait for the daily candle closeout. And again, this might take us 2 days, but we'll be able to have a sort of a good understanding of what the market's going to do in the next 2 days. All right. Hopefully today, but definitely in the next 2 days, we'll get a better sort of understanding of what's going on. And traders, just to sum it up once again about the news. If you go ahead and take a look at history, and this is the most important thing right here that traders need to absolutely understand right here. If you take a look at history over the last, let's take a look over the last year. We've had a lot of fundamental changes in the market, right? We've seen the market change quite a few times. We've seen news reports like this news come out and absolutely move the market in the complete opposite direction. And let me explain to you what that means. When you have a rate decision and they raise the interest rate, normally that strengthens that currency, all right? Or if they cut interest rate, it normally weakens that currency. And we've seen in the short term that happening. But in the midterm and long term, the market, in fact, sometimes in the intraday, the market turns very quickly and turns into the opposite move. So coming back to what we just had right now, we had the market cut interest rates. Expected move would be a weaker Canadian dollar. I'm going to say this, and maybe I'm going to eat my words later, but I'm going to say this. By the end of today, by the start of tomorrow, I'm not guaranteeing nothing. I'm almost certain that we're going to see a downside move, which means we're going to see the market recover from the move today and start reversing for the rest of the week. By the end of the week, I won't be surprised if we're going to see the US dollar selling off, US dollar CAD, selling off, the CAD Swiss rallying, the New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD both selling off as well. So just put it out there. So something to think about as we're heading into the last sort of part of the week. I think we're going to start seeing that. All right, traders. Let's see. This is great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming out with me. I'm inevitably going to be, looking at the news and watching the markets at this time of the day. So, I just thought it'd be a great time to start some live sessions, and we're going to do a lot more of this. I'm starting to get my my setup here more jacked up, and got a lot of stuff happening right here. We're going to have a big monitor at the back there. We're going to have some good lighting. So all of that stuff's been worked on, and we should be ready to rock and roll by next week. So we're going to start producing some more video content. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and of course, I'll be passing on some great opportunities, great inside information about how to be able to tackle this market and control your emotions at the same time, but also making sure that you got good equity management at all times as well. So with that being said, traders, have a fantastic week of trading. We'll see you guys back again in the next show. This is FX Big Dog signing off.